Active Directory Forest Recovery. In this module, you are going to learn how to perform a full forest recovery using ADFR 4.0. Let's begin by logging in to the ADFR Recovery Console. Go ahead and enter the Recovery Administrator account, select the local computer name from the drop-down, and click Login. Once you've logged into the Recovery Console on the right-hand side, you are presented with three different options: Forest Recovery, Domain Controller Restore, and Partition Recovery. Since we are interested in restoring the entire AD forest, we are going to select Forest Recovery. On the following screen, select the backup you wish to use for the forest recovery. For this demonstration, we will select the first one on the list. You are then presented with the metadata for the selected backup set. It's important that you review this screen carefully to make sure that all ADFR agents are showing as running and connected. You can identify the agent state by looking at the agent status column. If you wish to simply perform a recovery and use the original host boxes as the recovery platform, you may simply hit Continue. However, in a real-world scenario, when you are trying to recover from a cyber attack, you may wish to recover onto new hardware or new virtual machines. When discussing requirements of performing a recovery against alternate hardware or virtual machines, consider that the host operating system should be the same major version of Windows Server. Service packs and hotfixes are not relevant, but it is best practice to have the new recovery systems fully patched before performing the recovery. From a requirement standpoint, you must also validate that the logical disk configuration is the same. For example, if your original domain controllers had both volumes C and D configured, the new recovery systems should also have the same disk layout available before executing the recovery within ADFR. And finally, you must pre-install the ADFR agent on the recovery systems before starting the process. In this demonstration, as we will be recovering to new machines, we will need to input the IP addresses of the blank virtual machines. Note that you may either manually input the values or import them from a text file. Let's review the format considerations for the IP mapping file. The format of this file is very simple. There should be one recovery target system per line. The first line of the file is always DC_name, domain, original IP, and target IP. For this demonstration, we are going to import a file from the desktop folder that we prepared ahead of time. Once all IP addresses are imported, ADFR will then validate that the recovery machine agents are responding and available to perform the recovery. We can now hit Continue in order to proceed with the forest recovery process. Once all the provided information has been verified by the system, we can click the Start Recovery button to start the forest recovery process. Once you press the Start Recovery button, the recovery process will initiate and send the recovery files onto the blank target machines. The timing of this recovery activity will vary depending on your environment, but once it has completed, the new domain controllers will be created inside of the new environment. One important note: if you have reason to suspect that malware has been introduced into Sysvol, this registry key can be configured within ADFR that will quarantine any executables nullifying the files post-recovery. In this module, you learned how to perform an Active Directory forest recovery using ADFR 4.0. Thank you, and we hope to see you on the next module.